So 2013 Survivor Series is actually looking like it's going to be a pretty good card. Welcome back, everyone. This is Jason. This video is going to be talking about the Go Home Raw right before the Survivor Series, the Sunday. I'm not going to cover the whole thing top to bottom because some of it just is not worth talking about. But there were some definite highs on the show, and it does pertain to the pay per view this Sunday. So it's also gonna, I'm also gonna talk about my predictions after I cover some of the highs, and might talk about some of the lows, not all of them though. First off, first highlight of the night was a match between Biggie Langston and Curtis Axel for the Intercontinental Championship, and this actually had kind of a big match feel to it. It really did. They've been pushing Biggie Langston for the last few weeks, and they turned a babyface when he helped out. Was it John Cena? I think it was John Cena. They finally pulled him off of Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee, that whole shebang. So that was good to see. And he's been getting some pops lately. Um, he always got a good response down at NXT, and it was just a matter of time before they did the same thing. Turn the babyface on the main roster because I mean he really didn't cast that much of a bad guy presence when he came down to the ring. He was just kind of stoic, stone faced. He's a big guy, so it was easier for him to come across as something positive than something negative. So hopefully they keep going with this. The match was good back and forth. They've really been doing this whole thing with Curtis Axel and Ryback. Now there's no more Heyman guys, with the exception of Brock Lesnar when he comes back for WrestleMania, probably. But Curtis Axel is no longer with Heyman, and so he's really got to work on his own thing now. And so this really felt like a new beginning for both of them, which is something refreshing to see on Raw. And like I said, the match was good, and Biggie Langston came out on top and is the new Intercontinental Champion, and that was something cool to see. I had a feeling he was going to win tonight. Wasn't real sure, but good for Biggie. He's a looks like he's going to be doing some big things in the future. No pun intended. Let's see. Then we had some stuff with Orton. This whole Orton Big Show feud has been going back and forth. Show's got his job back, and now Triple H and stuff are back in town, and they just really they did nothing to, how do I say this? They did nothing to really make this look like an important match for Survivor Series, like one of the main matches. They're making Randy look like a weak champ, really, because he's acting like a whiny little bitch. And Big Show, the Raw before Survivor Series, they got him facing Ryback. And Ryback's just been a hot mess in himself lately. He's not with Heyman anymore either, and losing. And now he just lost again to Big Show. So, it certainly didn't make Big Show look any better now that Big Show has his job back. But I'll cover the prediction part of it later. Miz turned heel tonight in a match. He tagged with Kofi Kingston against the Real Americans, and that started out a pretty good match. Pretty entertaining, back and forth. But Kofi went for the tag, and Miz was like, "Oh, come on, you can reach, come on," and then hopped down and was like, "Oh," the big "fu" face, like, "Oh," it was pretty funny. He did something similar, I guess, in Europe the year before, and there was a little bit of news about it. Nothing major, but I think people had a feeling because they read that it was going to happen on Raw tonight. Well, it did. And Miz is one of those guys, they try to make babyface, and it's like pulling teeth with the fans, trying to get them to like him. They're just really indifferent. Miz is one of those guys for years now. It's just a lot more fun to hate him, because he came from the whole Tough Enough thing, and yeah, just, I don't know. Just one of those guys you love to hate. So Miz turned heel tonight. That was one of the highlights. I call it a highlight because I think he's a better heel than he is a face. So it's gonna be fun to boo him now again. And then they had a whole thing where they got back at the general managers for screwing up last week. Like I said earlier, they put Orton against Maddox. That was just stupid. And then they put Vicky against AJ, and she did a whole fake thing where, I'm injured, I faint, and I can't wrestle, and blah, 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 blah. And that was basically a waste of television. AJ won that one. And Ziggler versus Sandow. Ziggler won in a Broadway brawl. I don't understand why they called it a Broadway. This was a big Nashville country Raw. Broadway has nothing to do with country. Broadway is like New York City, and I don't know why they called it that. They threw a bunch of, I don't know, whatever. It was big. The only cool thing about it is, Ziggler won, and I like Ziggler. And he took a guitar and smashed Sandow over the head with it, and did Jeff Jarrett Double J strut right before he did it. So, and that was pretty cool. I think a lot of Southern fans noticed that and got a kick out of that. They were like, hey, that's a Double J strut. So that was cool. Other than that, it was just nonsense. And they had some band, Florida something. I can't think of the name of the band. They put on a pretty good show. It was all right. Helped with the Raw Pyro. It was pretty cool. Florida Georgia Line, I think they were called. Around Here is a song. Something like that. It was all right. And right before that, 3MB came out and introduced themselves as the Rhinestone Cowboys. Poor Glenn Campbell isn't even dead yet, and he's rolling over in his grave now because he started singing that to the two guys from the band. Oh my God, that was horrible. They had big, obnoxious country jackets and coats, and it's sad day in country to see these guys try to pull off something country. Last week they were the Union Jacks in London or Manchester, wherever they shot it, over in England. And they wore the big Union Jack jackets and pants and whatever, and actually got a bit of a pop. Probably the first time they ever got cheered, big time, was over there just because they wore the Union Jack stuff. Def Leppard called. They want their outfits back. Anyways, so the Rhinestone Cowboys came down to the ring, and they faced R-Truth and Xavier Woods. NXT's Xavier Woods made his debut tonight on the main roster with R-Truth and came off with a win. That was pretty cool. Good-looking kid. He's been in NXT for about 3 years now, and looked great in the ring. Has some cool finishers. Good job, Xavier Woods. Then we had the main event. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Rhodes Brothers, and the Usos versus the Shield and the Wyatt family. And you could cut the tension in the ring with a knife between the Shield and the Wyatts. They kind of continued it from last week. You tell they really don't like each other, and they're really building up something big later. I can't wait till it actually goes down. They actually put these two teams together. But they had to work together tonight, and you could tell they didn't want to, and they did in the end. But chaos ensues, of course. But CM Punk and his boys came off with the win. And in the end, as more chaos ensued, Rey Mysterio made his return tonight on Raw. And they announced earlier today that it was going to be a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match between the Rhodes Brothers, the Usos, and a mystery person versus the Shield and the Real Americans. Well, we now know who the mystery person is going to be. It's going to be Rey Mysterio, seeing as he made his big return tonight. And it as exciting as it was to see him come back, you can tell already it's going to be short-lived, because he didn't have that sprint down to the ring like he always did. You could tell he was being very careful running down to the ring so that he didn't bust something again. And just, he's not the same Rey Mysterio. It's really sad. He's probably going to do this match, maybe show up on SmackDown, do this match for Survivor Series, and then he's going to probably go away till WrestleMania, if he's even able to wrestle. It's really sad. But nonetheless, it's good to see him back. So, my predictions for the pay-per-view. If you go through the card that we know so far, it's going to be Big Show versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. I predict Randy Orton will come out because they told him tonight that he's not going to get any help from the Shield or anyone. He'll probably pull off a dirty win, though, somehow, some way. Not looking forward to this match. Just not. John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. John Cena tonight came out in a sling, and it almost looked like he was going to forfeit the title, because they've been talking about all week how banged up he was from the European trip and coming back early, and did he come back too early, and is he okay, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you can tell he's banged up, but he still says he's going to wrestle this Sunday, so yeah, John Cena's probably going to win. If it was anyone else, I probably would say that they'd win, because I'm so sick of Alberto Del Rio being thrown in this World Heavyweight Championship card. But nonetheless, John Cena's hurt, injured, whatever you want to call it, but he's going to do it. He's probably going to win. The 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match between Rhodes Brothers, the Usos, and Rey Mysterio against the Shield and the Real Americans. I'm going to say if Rey Mysterio was not part of this match, I'd say the Shield and Real Americans would win. But I think Rey Mysterio is going to come out with the win on this one with the Rhodes Brothers and the Usos. It's going to be definitely one of the highlights of the night. Should be some great action in there. Same with this tag team match between the Wyatt family, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan versus CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. I think the Wyatt family is going to come on this one. They're really pushing them lately, giving them a lot of time on TV. Excuse me. Love CM Punk and Daniel Bryan's a great team, but I don't think they're going to pull this one off. Wyatt family's going to dominate. Good to see that, though. A lot of fresh blood getting a nice push in the WWE. Last but not least, which will probably headline, will be the 7-on-7 Diva match. I'm kidding. It won't headline. 7-on-7 Divas match. Probably going to be somewhere in the middle of the card. Probably going to be hate to say it, the bathroom break match. Not going to go through all the names. You know who all the Divas are. It's basically the total Divas cast against 7 other Divas. Okay, just to sum it up real quick. Running out of time here. Any other matches that might get thrown in on the card would probably be the rematch between Big E Langston and Curtis Axel. That's about it for the card. Should be a good pay-per-view. They finally actually did something with it this week, so that's good to see. Thanks for watching, guys. Those are my predictions. And if they do throw in Big E, he will retain. Thanks for watching. Bye.